Hello everyone, welcome back to Anmoll Astrology channel. Now this video is about the transit of Venus in the Nakshatra of Ashlesha. I have made a previous video about what Venus does in the Nakshatra of Ashlesha. In this video, we are going to talk about the predictions that what results it might give for this particularly 11 days, because this transit is going to start from 20th of July 2024 and is going to be there till 31st of July 2024. So let's quickly dive into the charts. Right. So the Muhurata at the time when this particular transit is going to happen, the time is going to be 6:10 p.m. on the 20th of July. Now, this is going to be the Muhurata chart. It is going to be a Sagittarius ascendant. So this particular transit is going to talk about higher learnings, spiritual learnings, success, fortune for an individual as well, because the theme of this transit is going to be Sagittarius, the original ninth house, the house of learning, the house of fortune, the house of also which the house reflects one's wealth in a way as well, how lucky they are in life as well. And also, if it's about emotions and relationships, people would want to have the highest of freedom, because Sagittarius people, we have moon in the Sagittarius in the first house. That means people want emotional freedom. They would want to be expressive on a next level without being tied down with any of the traumas, any of person also. So this is actually, I would consider this Venus Nakshatra transit as a positive one, because there's moon, although there is eighth lord in the first house, right? So that does mean that something abrupt is going to happen for everyone, which would make them vision a lot more clearer, which would make them optimistic also, which would give them that positivity to move on in life, to have a good sense of living for life. So it's like that you will be feeded with very much positive environment during this particular transit, during the last 10 days of this month of July. Right. So let's get started. This is the Muhurta chart, and these are also the prediction for the sign of Sagittarius. So for the sign of Sagittarius, the actual transit of Venus in the nakshatra of Ashlesha is happening in the eighth house. Now, the major theme would be that the nakshatra lord is going second from itself. So definitely talks about gains, of that particular houses. So Venus in the eighth, this talks about immense wealth. You will be hoarding wealth. You would be accumulating good wealth. You might also, accumulate wealth in the form of jewelries, in the form of gold as well, because it's a Venus-Sun conjunction. And then Mercury is going into the ninth house in the nakshatra of Magha. This also talks about learning immense knowledge of occult astrology, right? This about, if we talk about relationships, this always talks positively about relationships. So relationships will also be healed, although there would be a lot of emotions that you would have been had in the previous days. Now these emotions will be surfaced as a part of communication, and you will learn rather a lot of mature things out of these particular experiences you have had in the month of July as a part of relationships, right? This also shows that Venus and Sun conjunction, since there is also a ninth lord coming into the eighth house, some good things can happen in terms of your inheritance and also for your in-laws. right? So if you are like trying to invest in long term, if it's like, suppose you are trying to buy a property, you are trying to buy a vehicle, this it can be a good time for you to do that, because at the same time there's Rahu in the fourth house, which is the bhoga karka, remember. Then Saturn is also retrograde in the third house. It is actually activating the second house. So there is incoming of money, and there's also outgoing of money in the form of long term assets or fixed assets. Okay, in terms of relationships, again, you would rather now deal with relationships not in a traumatic or emotionally afflicted way, but rather you would be managing your emotions, you would be managing your relationship with very optimistic approach, and with also very much intelligence. You would want to also explore with your partner by the way of traveling, so you might make plans for travel. It could be also there that you might travel, right? But most of all, it is more about you planning about some travel. Then since Saturn and Mercury is right now in opposition, retrograde Saturn is also activating the ninth house. It also means you're going to go start writing something, you're going to start budgeting something. So you might budget your finances, you might manage your finances, and this time is definitely about working hard, and you are going to get results for your hard work when it's about your profession. Because see, the third house Saturn, Jupiter and Mars in the sixth house, then Mercury in the ninth house, so and Ketu in the 10th house. Actually, the dissatisfaction from the career is going to make you go towards working hard towards career, right? So that's about the sign of Sagittarius. Now the sign of Capricorn. So for Capricorn individuals, this transit is happening in the seventh house. So Venus is going into Ashlesha in the seventh house, and then Mercury is in the eighth house. This means that you would very intelligently work towards your partnerships and relationships, but be aware of this fact that there can be some deception out of a partnership, not necessarily about relationships, but yes, this time your partner might hide something from you. You in fact are going to feel very spiritually aligned because of moon going into the 12th. You would want to spend, but on the other way you would also want to create some savings. So it's like you would want to balance your savings and the amount you are spending. Along with that, this time can actually be very romantic in nature, but be very careful with the people you are interacting as a part of romance or as a part of partnership, because at this time there is very much necessary that such people can also be deceptive in nature, right? You would also encounter with the people who are very proudy in nature, very bossy in nature, right? So because your ascendant lord right now is in the sign of Aquarius, this is actually a part of your karmic lesson, that they would actually help you get out of your cocoon. They will actually help you to get out of your introvert self. And since Saturn and Mercury is in direct opposition in the 12th house, sorry, in the second and the eighth axis, that again talks about dealing with lots of money, budgeting your assets, budgeting your inheritance. If you're trying to invest into something, be shares, be gold, be anything you can think of as a vision for the future, definitely this is the best time for you to do that. Now, next would be the sign of Aquarius. So for Aquariuses, this particular transit is happening in the sixth house in Ashlesha. Venus is in Ashlesha. First of all, be aware of your gastric issues. Be aware of your health issues as well. Then this Mercury is in the seventh house. So you might get a lot of lessons and good karma, the fruits of your good karma through partnership at this time. Partnership, your partner can be a little more demanding this time. There would be a lot of attention that they would want, but you yourself are very much busy working, busy indulged with your work and career, because you want to have more and more of finances, more and more of wealth, because of Rahu in the second house. First of all, look for your expenses. Do not do wasteful spendings. Because of this Rahu in the second and Venus in the sixth in Ashlesha, you would want to hoard, but rather not, it's not just about hoarding wealth, it's actually about spending on unnecessary luxury. So this is something you need to be careful of. Your moon in the 11th house, although will make you suddenly will make you a person who would want to make huge investments, and that is going to be very different of yourself. Although you are normally not like that, but you would somehow develop this urge in this month of in this end of July, that you would want to um, invest into something which is more about gaining, more about strategical investment. Okay, this time is actually good for your career, but be aware of wasteful spendings. I told you, in regards of relationship, there's going to be a lot of communication with other people, and if you are in dating phase, there could be a dating around the time, there could be a love encounter around the time, and which could be a person from the past as well, or past of this life, or your past life, some other life that you have had. And also there is a lot of playful communication that I see, but be careful of being deceptive. People that you are going to interact with will appear to be quite homely in nature, quite manipulative also, but very bossy and sassy also. But still, be aware of the manipulations that might happen here, and you have that judgment because of that Saturn in the ascendant, so you will be able to judge what is right, what is wrong. So trust your judgment, trust your criticism. Okay, now the sign of Pisces. So for Pisces individuals, already going through a very, very transformative time, focusing on self-love. But regardless of self-love, this time is actually talking about a relationship. Venus in the fifth house in Ashlesha, you would want to explore your sexuality in your relationships, or with a person which can be new in your life, right? So I do see that you might opt for going for a travel, or you might also opt for exploring on dating websites, or dating apps. And I do see that right now it's a very knowledgeable time for you. You would want to dive deeper into knowledge through social media or through different books. You'll be learning, and you'll be wanting to learn about mythology, learn about astrology. A lot of things you will be searching online. And this time is actually a little more better when it's about having an encounter. But this encounter can be a little casual in nature, because the seventh lord is going into the sixth house, and also the Ashlesha, the lord in lord of the Nakshatra, in which Venus is transiting, that is also going into the sixth house. That means there could be a verbal conflict that you might have in a romantic encounter. So just be careful with what you are communicating. Although your skills, your creative skills, are at the highest peak right now. So if you are trying to write a book, if you are trying to do something creative in your life, definitely this is the time for you to do that. But be careful of your communication. Do not have rift, and do not have very very straight communication, really blunt communication. Try to be a little more manipulative so as to get your things done. Okay, emotion. And also this also talks about fluctuations in your career. You would want to do something else, as also you might be looking for job, you might be doing something else, and you would want to increase your source of income. So that's why I see very much fluctuations within your career environment. Okay, and you would also want to have maximum emotional satisfaction from your career. And now before you were not very optimistic about your emotional environment within the career, but now you will very optimistically feel how I should heal my career environment and how I should look towards the positive ends of it. Then the sign of Aries. So for the sign of Aries, Venus is in the 4th house in Ashlesha. You might get a tattoo done. You might get your hair colored right now. This also talks about beautifying your home. Remember, if you have seen the Venus in Ashlesha Nakshatra video, you would know that how Ashlesha individual always want to, beautify their home, keep it at the as a very aesthetic theme of the home. So you would want to do that right now. You would buy articles of luxury so as to improvise your interiors. And then this also talks about strategically managing your finances. You might also develop interest into shares, speculation, and articles of investment. So you would want to also gain knowledge, that when it's about Vedantic knowledge. So you would be diving very, very deeper into astrology, and especially on the mythological side, on the nakshatra side, right? Because here Mercury is in Magha in the 5th house, right? And on the other hand, see, moon is in the 9th house. So definitely this is a time of higher learnings. You would always also want to travel for leisure purposes. You might be wanting to travel out of country. So you might be, planning something about it as well. And this career wise, this actually talks about gains. I feel that till November, you again would have to work very much harder towards the society, towards your work. And after November, you will receive the fruits of whatever hard work you have done right now, right? This also comes in, and then you have to be careful of what you're eating. You have to be little bit careful of what your digestive system, how it is operating, especially about the stone issues. If you are having any stone issues, then be careful of that, because there could be an opportunity to get rid of it. Okay, so let me see if there's something else. Yeah, and then right now also subconsciously your mind is going to feel very restless. All the time you will be thinking something, and even if you wake up, you will wake up being tired. So that is just because Rahu is in the 12th house, and it is making you obsess over things, right? And Venus in the 4th house, then its nakshatra lord is going into the 5th house. Definitely it also talks about gaining something. Like suppose you always wanted to have a luxury car, or you wanted to purchase a car. This is actually a time when you can do that, because there's highest possibility of that. Okay, so now the sign of Taurus. So for Taurus individuals, this transit of Venus is happening in the 3rd house along with Sun. So it is in the nakshatra of Ashlesha. The nakshatra lord is in the 4th house. Then in the ascendant, you people right now have Mars and Jupiter. So right now you are actually in a way nurturing your skills of finances, how to deal and manage finances, howsoever person you have been in your life. But right now your life has been all about how to stabilize your money, how to get security in life, be it be emotional security, be it be financial security. You would want to make some changes within your home, and also you would want to read a lot of books at this time. This also means there can be a relationship that can happen through via social media only, right? Because Venus is in the 3rd house along with Sun, and that also means that communications in general can be very straightforward, very straightforward, but in a straightforward way. But still you would want to communicate in order to get something out of it, in order to gain something out of it. And definitely at this time you would actually acquire the skills to get what you want through your communications, through your knowledge. And at this time you're going to feel more research oriented, more like a detective, because moon is in the 8th house. At the same time you would also want to travel for leisure purposes as well. So definitely there's a significant travel I can see here. And then it also means that because of Saturn in the 10th house, and right now it is retrograde, it is again activating your 9th house. So if suppose you people wanted to travel somewhere, and you would seeking a visa for that, and it was not coming. So now you can expect that arrival of visa. But again, this Saturn is going to make you work really, really hard so as to get things done. And again, it is talking about retrospecting your finances, retrospecting your home situation and your career situation. Okay. So next, for the sign of Gemini. So for the sign of Gemini, this transit of Venus is happening in the second house in Ashlesha, and Mercury is in the third house. So definitely very good wealth. This is a time where you are going to spend on luxury, and rather you are going to get luxury. Then this also means that your partner will feel very fortunate at this time, because your second lord is actually going into the seventh house. You would want to connect on or a spiritual level with your partner. You would want to have an enjoyable time with your partner. So for that, again, it talks about traveling, and it also talks about writing something, writing, publishing. And it's more so like you might go online, write something or learn something through social medias, or learn something from gurus who are living at a distance, right? So you would learn the Vedantic knowledge, you would write notes about it, and you would want to pursue it as a part of your knowledge as well. This also talks about that, about a significant travel. This also talks about, you would right now feel very much of an urge to provide for the people you love. So you would want to do something for your family. You would want to, also excel in your career. You would want to do something in terms of your career so as to get the highest authority in your career as well. But still, the situation for your career can be a little wavy. The graph could be up and down, but ultimately, this transformation in terms of your career and your home, it is going to be very, very good. And there could be gains from either a love encounter or your first child. So your first child would actually feel a little fortunate at this time as well, right? So next, yes, and also this time talks all about communication. So if you are into social media business, try to represent yourself, try to communicate yourself, and present your brand, present your work. Okay. So next will be the sign of Cancer. So for the sign for Cancer individuals, this transit is happening in the ascendant. Suddenly you would want to beautify yourself, you would want to love yourself, and you would want to try different cuisines, different sorts of food. And because of that, just take care of your health as well. I don't see anything significant, to be honest, but there can be little bits of daily fluctuations which can happen within your digestive system. And definitely you need to have a very disciplined routine when it's about your nutrition, about what you eat, how you eat. And this time, of course, because of Rahu in the ninth house has been difficult. You have been feeling that I'm not fortunate, my fortune is not working accordingly. But definitely it is actually asking you to take action towards recognition, towards your profession, and towards your service towards the society, because you have Jupiter and Mars in the 11th house. There can be support from elder sibling or a person that you consider as your elder sibling. This also talks about that you have to be a little careful with texting on social media because of Ketu in the third house. Just try not to respond to people who are being quite critically judgmental. Now, this Saturn in the eighth house, this is going retrograde. It also talks about that there is going to be some resurface of some inheritance issue, which will get solved up to, most probably November. But there's going to be a lot of budgeting. There's going to be a lot of communication over how much to receive, how much to give. So a lot of talks around finances also. But be careful of your speech, because having Mercury in the second house in a fire sign, you might be overly blunt at this time. Although this Venus in the ascendant is giving you that intelligence, giving you that sense of how to get your things done. But still, since there are fiery planets in your 11th house and in your second house, this would actually, and you see, you are also receiving the fourth aspect of Mars, the emotional aspect of Mars over your Mercury. So out of frustration, you might speak things which cannot be good in your case. So please, just be very careful with your communication and with your emotions also, with your reactions also. Okay, now next would be the sign of Leo. So for Leo people, you have Mercury in the first house and Saturn in the seventh. You would, and along with that, you have Jupiter and Mars in the 10th. You would want to work towards managing your finances and managing your work. This time, of course, because of Rahu in the 8th and Ketu in the second, this time would not have been best with the income, but this axis is actually talking about motivating you towards earning more, towards thinking about, forming some strategies so as to earn good amount of money through your career. Now this Venus is transiting into your 12th house, so definitely it will not make you deprived of luxury, deprived of money, but it's just that it wants you to put righteous actions in play towards your career so as to gain out of it. Definitely this is a time of research. You would you would be, interacting with a lot of omens. So just be very alert right now. There are going to be a lot of positive and negative omens in your surroundings which are trying to communicate with you that what is about to happen, because this Venus talks about spiritual enlightenment. This Venus talks about Kundalini awakening. Although there is a lot of judgment that you are receiving from people, but this is the time when you are going to, I know because of Mercury in the ascendant, you are going to, think a lot. You are going to rather overthink about every judgment you are receiving, every comment, every, be sarcastic in nature, be judgmental in nature, be critical in nature. You are going to overthink about it, but the universe is trying to tell you that you need to ignore it and you need to consider and concentrate on the omens you are receiving, because those are going to tell you what are going to be the results of your future. And then Moon is in the fifth house. You would want to indulge romantically and creatively. This is the time when you actually want to express now. You have been criticized long time now because of Saturn in the seventh, but now you want to express your love, you want to express your emotions through a fine and practical but restricted communication, restricted words. But definitely you should do that, because in that way you will leave a lot of trauma out from your body. Okay, then the sign of Virgo. So for Virgo individuals, definitely this has been the hardest time because of the spiritual transformation which has been going around. But there is Venus in the 11th in Ashlesha. This means that there could be a friend or a female or your wife is going to help you gain something. And this gain can also be spiritual enlightenment. This also talks about, since Mercury is in the 12th house, you would actually want to be very playful in love right now. You would want to be very romantic and you would be very want to involve in the love matter, be in your marriage, be in your love life. This also talks about gaining through a female and gaining through a authoritative female or an authority as well. So good gains are on the papers right now. It is a time where you can even gain from foreign governments, because see, the 12th lord is coming into the 11th house. Then Jupiter and Mars in the house are talking about that you are definitely on the right path. Just keep a check on your actions. Those should be driven by wisdom only. Those should be good. The more good you do for people, the more good results you're going to get for yourself. Finances also actually seem very, very good to me, because the second lord is actually going into the 11th house. This talks about it actually is a combination of Raj Gaddi. That means that you're going to have a good authority in your work, in your career. This also talks about paying off your debts. This is actually a very good time when you will be able to pay off your debts, because retrograde Saturn is in the sixth house, and along with it is receiving the aspect from Mercury in the 12th house. That means you're going to you are going to do all the calculations right now. You're going to pay off your debts. You're going to keep a check on your expenses so as to grow your expenses. So this is a very good foundational time for your career and finances, and also relationships. This might also make you travel. Your spouse may would have to travel for their work as well. Okay, and this would also in as a result create your travel. You would also want to develop an optimistic outlook within your home environment as well. And if you are trying to purchase an object of luxury like a vehicle, a car, a motorcycle, or anything, any convenience related thing, this is also a very good time to buy it. And I also see there could be expenditure on electronics, because Mercury is in the 12th house right now in Magha. This also talks about learning astrology, learning occult as well. Because Ketu is in the first house, you are all about research right now, and you are going to research about mythology, astrology. Right? So next would be the sign of Libra. So for Libra individuals, Venus in the um, 10th house along with Sun, Mercury in the 11th house. This actually means definitely there's some creative endeavor, or some you in with whatever career you have, you are going to use some creativity within your career, which will help you gain good fame, good name. People are going to get attracted towards your creativity. So this is definitely a very good time to post something online, post your work, post your skills online. See, Moon in the third house, Venus and Sun in the 10th house, Mercury in the 11th house, Saturn retrograde aspecting the 11th house, and also activating the fourth house. So definitely your research, your creative self has to be out there on social media, or out there in front of people, and you're going to get good recognition out of it. Definitely. And now you would also want to very cleverly, you would want to take the highest position at your work. So this is if you are into a job, a female, an authoritative female can act very manipulative, can also act very deceptive also, but you can gain out of this deception. Remember, it's like a gain that you are not expecting, but with your intelligence and with your wisdom, you will be able to grow out of it very nicely. Even though the person can be deceptive, but their deception can actually help you gain something. Be aware of your health as well. Gastric issues can be there, issues related to digestive system can be there, issues related to your vocal cord or throat can be there. So be a little careful with that as well. And if you want to invest money somewhere, try to invest it more in long term areas rather than going for short term gains, because short term gains can prove to be not the best for you right now. Okay, and definitely because of Moon in the third house, you can be very much assumptuous in nature right now, but this assumptuous nature is actually going to be for good, because this is in the sign of Sagittarius. You would want to assume good in everything. You would want to assume optimistic things right now. It is unlike the third house, it is not going to be the negative assumption. You are going to have a very different outlook towards your life right now, towards your family, your close friends. So it talks about a lot of healing situation, a spiritual healing which is going around unknowingly right now. Okay, it also talks about gaining something, or there can be a significant transformative change which would make you gain something, especially in terms of your either inheritance, either or the wealth of your father, or your career. Okay, Then the sign of Scorpio. So this is the last one. So Venus transit is in the ninth house. This is an enjoyable time. You would want to enjoy right now the sign of Scorpio. Then also you would want to acquire some education, and that education you are going to use within your career. Because of that acquiring of some diploma, some short course or some degree, that is going to affect the recognition through your work and recognition can actually feel quite unstable right now, but over the time it is definitely going to grow. The stars are only talking about you working extremely hard towards your goals. You have to actually be focused. I do see, because of a retrograde Saturn in the fourth and Mercury in the 10th, there is going to be lack of focus and lack of concentration within your career and within your work. Maybe there is something else which is going around in your life or in your mind, which can be more associated with something financial in nature and related to the family as well. So you just need to take some time off of that problems, gain your focus again, and then be determined towards your work. Try to not indulge into multiple sources of income and multiple opportunities at one time. Go for one thing at a time, right? And definitely there's going to be unasked recognition that you will be able to get. This also means that your partner somehow is going to guide you through the process, and they are going to help you. Their actions, they are going to act as a teacher to you right now, and also a financial strategic teacher to you, who is going to help you gain a lot through your career and ultimately in life as well. So if you want to take someone's suggestion, either go towards your father or go towards your spouse, so as to get that. Okay, so guys, this was my analysis. You can call it as the analysis for Venus transit in the Nakshatra of Ashlesha, or you can even call it as an update for the month of remaining days of the month of July. Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful. I will get back with you with another video. Till then, take care. And if you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if you guys would like to have your personal readings from me, you can check out the link below. And under the reading section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. And under the unique reading section, you can book a unique reading for yourself. Okay, guys, see you next time. Bye bye. Take care.